I'm Douglas Mason, CEO of Naturally Splendid, symbol NSP on the TSX Venture Exchange. Naturally Splendid is a biotechnology and consumer products company focused on the global cannabis and health markets. Naturally Splendid is expanding distribution in this rapidly growing market with products currently in Canada, the USA, South Korea, Germany, and Australia. To view our comprehensive company presentation and for more information, please visit our website at naturallysplendid.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Jordan Bateman. He's the Vice President of Communications and Marketing for the Independent Contractors and Business Association in BC. His website, icba.ca. Welcome back to the show, Jordan.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Jordan, now I wonder how much it has to do with business and contracting, but Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, for the second time now, has been found to have violated ethics guidelines, this time in connection with the SNC-Lavalin affair. How does this affect business when you look at confidence in, say, Canada or the government?
Well, look, it has a huge effect on business in a number of different ways. So, first of all, there's SNC-Lavalin itself. This is a huge engineering, design, construction, and management firm for dozens and dozens of significant infrastructure projects across the country. Lots in Quebec, to be sure, but also lots in Vancouver. SkyTrain lines, bridges. SNC-Lavalin had their finger in all those different pies. So there's that kind of issue, which we can talk about more in our second topic. What it does do is, it further erodes confidence in the integrity of, how government and business interacts. So, there's a lot of talk in social media that, somehow, big business gets, all these perks that, the little guy doesn't get. And we don't really see that. Like, that's not actually true or accurate of the vast majority of businesses or politicians. But it again kind of reinforces that narrative that, somehow if you're rich enough, if you're powerful enough, if you give enough money to the right political party, you get to play by a different set of rules than everyone else. And, anytime that happens, that definitely erodes the confidence of the public in both its government and in the business sector. So it's hard to quantify what that would mean. But, it's a tough time as it is for business. And, you have politicians like John Horgan, who never met a tax they didn't love, especially if they can sock it to business somehow. And somehow they manage to differentiate business from what, businesses truly are, which is employers, helping the very people that, now express some skepticism.
Does it bring into doubt any government contracts with SNC? Were they honest deals done above board, or was there some glad-handing or secret contributions made? I mean, there was one case where SNC had employees make the maximum contribution, and then they were all given giant bonuses at the end of the year for doing it, and apparently there weren't any penalties for doing so.
Yeah, it certainly makes you wonder about the culture of the company. And, what's the old saying? There is, there's never just one cockroach. Like, you lift a rock, you see one cockroach scuttle out, you can bet there's, dozens more under there. So, we need to remember all of Justin Trudeau's problems right now come down to the fact that he tried to bully Jody Wilson-Raybould, then the Attorney General of Canada, into what's called a deferred prosecution agreement, essentially, letting SNC-Lavalin escape prosecution for things they're accused of without a court case, and instead just trying to extract something that way. That means there are allegations against SNC-Lavalin that need to be tested in court. There's investigations into them. We still wait to see if the federal Liberals really are as tone deaf and irresponsible as to actually give them that deferred prosecution agreement. I guess we'll know soon.
We'll have more with Jordan Bateman right after this.
Cypress Development Corp is developing a world-class lithium resource in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. The size of the resource makes the Clayton Valley project a premier asset with the potential to impact the future of lithium supply. Cypress Development Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the OTCQB, symbol CYDVF, and on Frankfurt, symbol C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Bateman Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Bateman's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at batemanresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Jordan Bateman. Jordan, SNC-Lavalin itself is contracting as a company, and I don't mean contracting out, I mean as in shrinking. What is it doing, and how does that affect projects in British Columbia?
Well, SNC-Lavalin is doing what they call re-entrenching or retrenching. So SNC, obviously, lots of bad press. I don't know if the company's image has ever been lower. Really struggling to stay afloat. And so what they've done is they've tried to restructure, reorganize, and essentially de-risk their business. So until now, what they've done is, they were engineers, they designed projects, they then built those projects or managed the building of those projects, and then would often manage them after they were built on behalf of the entity. They're getting rid of those last two things. No more design, build, manage. They're going strictly back to being an engineering firm, so designing. That's going to mean lots of people out of work in construction in Quebec, although most of those people will land with other companies because there's always things, or will still be things that need to be built. But what it does mean is that SNC-Lavalin were the finalists in two very significant pieces of infrastructure here in British Columbia. They were in the final three to build the Pacello Bridge replacement, and they were in the final three to build the much talked about Broadway subway. They have now pulled out of both of those bidding projects, or bidding on both of those projects. It means there's only two finalists for each of them. It also means that those bidders may tweak their bids, and you can bet they're not tweaking them down. When there's less competition, prices go up. Not coincidentally, those two projects are also two of the major projects that John Horgan has said have to be built by union labor, the terrible community benefits agreement union monopoly that he's handed out to his friends and insiders. That again further complicates those projects and virtually guarantees that they will run, significantly over budget. They're going to be late, and then as little appetite as there was, I think, for most British Columbians to see SNC-Lavalin walk away with either contract, having them not in the bidding means the costs will go up.
Is there court action connected to that because it's restricting access to the jobs?
Yeah, absolutely. So ICBA, the BC Chamber of Commerce, the BC Construction Association, Vancouver Regional Construction Association, a number of associations, some businesses and some frontline workers are in court. We're challenging this law. We don't believe it's fair. We believe it violates workers' rights because what you're saying is workers can't decide how they organize themselves. And, government knows best for them. So, a company may have a progressive union, an employee association, some profit sharing. They may say, this is how we want to organize ourselves. And instead, what happens is, if that company wants to build a project, they essentially have to lay off all their workers. Those workers then have to go join the union hiring hall. And then those workers get pushed way down the seniority list, and the union assigns workers, some of whom may be those former workers, but most of them won't. The union hall assigns new workers to these companies to build the project. That is a significant worker choice issue. It's also a significant safety issue because you're ripping apart teams who have worked together for a long time, who know how each other work, who understand the processes and the safety protocols that those companies have in place, and instead replacing them with, whichever guy just happens to have the most seniority or the best insider for buddy assigning work at the union hall. So we're in court. We won the first round. NDP tried to kick it back to the Labor Relations Board, which of course they appoint. Judge said, no, this is a court issue. I want to hear arguments on it. So, we're hoping in October to be, before a judge arguing against these unfair policies.
We'll have more with Jordan Bateman right after this.
Grand Portage Resources' Herbert Gold Project in southeast Alaska highlights increased gold resource, indicated and inferred, of 860,000 ounces, in excess of 10 grams per ton gold. Expansion drilling is planned on the Herbert Gold property for the summer of 2019. Grand Portage Resources trading symbols are GPG on the TSX Venture, GPTRF on the OTCQB, and GPB on Frankfurt. For more information, please visit our website, grandportage.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Jordan Bateman. Jordan, transit fares in Greater Vancouver went up July 1st, but we also found out around the same time that they've come up with a new guideline for what TransLink Authority executives can make and how much their pay raises can be. So the CEO, who already makes much more than the New York Transit Commissioner does, could get a $100,000 pay raise should executives who work for the government, A, get paid more than the premier, and B, be paid the same as an NHL hockey player, where tens of thousands of people pay to watch him in action.
No, absolutely not. And listen, I take public service pay and I try to compare it apples to apples instead of comparing a TransLink CEO to say the airport CEO. I actually want to look at what's the market like for transit CEOs across North America, and the fact that we in Vancouver have to pay ours, sometimes 2-3 times as much as other transit systems pay theirs, in far busier ones, New York, Chicago. Like, we've searched, we've hunted, we cannot find a transit CEO anywhere in North America who makes more money than the TransLink one. And this is an organization that didn't just, raise fares on July 1st, raised the gas tax $0.015 a liter this year. So, when you look at the market, we are grossly overpaying the market. We're grossly overpaying for our transit leaders. We've had a big turnover since the referendum in the people managing TransLink. This new crop seemed to be, mildly better than the old one, although God only knows what's actually happening behind the scenes. Sometimes it takes a couple of years for all those things to emerge. But, we didn't have any problems recruiting these people. We didn't have any problems hiring them. Like, they all came for the lower pay rate than the one that this panel set out. So it's just another kind of tone deaf, dumb TransLink thing. Like, they just can't seem to ever be just happy enough with what they have. They're always like, there's these, top employees at the top who are always hungry, trying to figure out more ways to extract more money from the public and put into their own pockets.
Do you think the public cares, or have Canadians become so complacent about semi-government officials patting their pockets that we just throw our hands up in disgust and walk away?
Yeah, they care. They care from time to time. Certain things, kind of launch into their radar. So remember when Greg Moore was on his way out as chair of Metro Vancouver, he tried to rush through a pay raise there for politicians, change some rules there. People, rightfully, were very upset, very angry with that plan, and defeated it. They forced those guys to reconsider and pull that away. So yeah, it does happen from time to time. Listen, as the guy who led the No campaign on the TransLink tax back in 2015, I can tell you the pay of CEO Ian Jarvis was a huge issue. And Ian Jarvis now, that salary is far less than the one being proposed by this panel. So yeah, it can cause pressure. John Horgan was smart and playing to his populist roots. He'd step in and say, guys, we're capping those salaries at the current rate, or the current rate plus X%. We don't think that these people should be making out a bunch of money, especially given the fact that we're about to go into a major building swing, and we need to be putting resources into the right things at TransLink. So, John Horgan, if this was Christy Clark's traveling still, and he was opposition leader, would be all over them to step in and do a cap. But now that he's the premier, kind of just quietly turns a blind eye and hopes that no one asks him about it.
Mm-hmm. Jordan, anything else you wanted to bring up today?
Just that, again, we're seeing some concerning news out of the United States and out of China on economic issues, out of the UK as well. Some retail numbers are down in Canada. We're getting, we've been saying for a while that we believe winter is coming into the Canadian and specifically BC economy. And if you're in business, if you're an investor, start planning for a downturn. Things are going to cool off and may get even worse than that. So winter is coming. It's time to get ready.
Jordan, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thanks.
My guest has been Jordan Bateman, Vice President of Communications and Marketing for the Independent Contractors and Business Association. Check out his website, icba.ca. If you have any questions for Jordan or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@housestreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.